Welcome to Legal and Wealthy, the podcast for lawyers who are ready to stop playing small and start building true wealth and a career and life of their dreams, powerfully and purposefully. Whether you're a law student, new associate, or seasoned attorney, this show is for those who are ready to take charge of their law career in a new way. I'm your host, Lauren Klein, attorney, law firm owner, professor, and founder of Legal and Wealthy. Here, we don't just practice law, we practice liberation and becoming wealthy attorneys. Because being a great lawyer shouldn't come at the cost of your time, your peace, or your financial freedom. Every week, you'll get the strategy, mindset, and wealth building guidance that law school never gave you. So you can go from just surviving your career to building a legacy through it. Let's get to work. Hello, and welcome back to Legal and Wealthy. I'm here today to talk to you about something pretty cool, something that's kind of been on my mind for a while. This is the year that I've officially turned 40 years old, and it's also the year that I celebrate 14 years of law practice. And so I'm just kind of thinking a lot. I'm reflecting a lot on, first of all, the 40 years of my life has gone by really, really fast. But the 14 years of law practice has gone by incredibly, incredibly fast. And so I've done a lot of reflecting. I've done a lot of thinking about, okay, what do I want, the next decade of my practice to look like? I have a law firm that I co-founded with my best friend that's doing very, very well. We had an incredible year last year. Started out a little rocky, like I said in the last episode. I think I've shared that in prior episodes too, and then just took off. And so it's been an exciting time professionally and personally. And I also have a lot of goals, for Legal and Wealthy this year. A lot of exciting things coming up that I think you're all going to really, really love. But all of this reflecting has had me kind of thinking, okay, if I could go back and do all of this again, what would I do differently? How would I approach my legal career differently if I was starting over, right, as a lawyer in 2026? So I'm going to talk to you today about what I would do knowing what I know now, after graduating law school, going through an LLM and master's in tax program, working in Big Four, working in big law, working at a boutique firm, and starting my own law firm. All the life experiences that I've had, all the books on personal finance that I've read, the podcasts on real estate investing, the actual real estate investing, that I've done, the starting two businesses at once, a law firm and Legal and Wealthy, all the things that I have learned along the way, that I've learned on my own and from others. What would I do differently today? And I'll tell you this, I would not focus on working harder or earning more at first. That's not what I would really, really put my effort into. I would focus on a combination of three things. I would focus on building wealth. Now you might be like, Lauren, you just said you wouldn't focus on earning more. No, I would focus on building wealth strategically. I would focus on my well-being from day one, because I can tell you there were at least several years, especially in law school, where I was chugging like 6 cups of coffee a day. I was not working out. I was not sleeping very well. I was like foregoing exercises to go sit in the exercising to go sit in the library and study. And I wasn't taking care of myself mentally, that's for sure. So I would focus on building wealth. I would focus on improving my well-being and making it a big, big priority in my life. And I would focus on my identity. And the three of those things together, knowing what I know now, oh man, I just think about what I could have done with all of this knowledge and information. So I want to share it with you today. And these are the things that I'm focusing on as I move through my next 10 years of practice and my 40s. And so it's an exciting episode because I'm really not only talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself about the things that I am personally reflecting on and focusing on as I move into this new year of life, this new decade, and this new year for all of us, right? So I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would do it and the things that I'm focusing on. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome to the Legal and Wealthy podcast. We do things a little differently here. We really focus on not just surviving, truly thriving and living a life that we really, really, really enjoy, that feels aligned and maybe feels a little even bit scary and out of reach sometimes, because that means you're growing, you're up leveling. I would really, really focus on that because, like I said, this is the spot. If you're ready to build wealth, if you're ready to really, really improve your well-being, and you're ready to say, I want an identity that aligns with who I'm becoming, you're in the perfect place. This episode of Legal and Wealthy is brought to you by Law Firm Sites. Law Firm Sites has been building custom websites and providing online marketing for law firms for over 23 years. They are good at what they do because that's all that they do. If you are looking to expand the reach of your firm or just improve your online presence, Law Firm Sites has the team to do it. Go to lawfirmsites.com or call 1-800-932-8242 and mention Legal and Wealthy to receive 10% off any of their website or marketing packages. So let's talk about the different pillars of what I would do if I were kind of starting over again. So pillar number 1, wealth that actually works for lawyers. So I've talked about this so many times on this podcast. And if you didn't listen to the last episode, definitely go back and listen, where I talk a little bit about kind of the things that I saw in big law or the things that I see with my clients now that are lawyers, and how often we are missing so many opportunities when it comes to building our wealth, because we kind of have, as lawyers, unique financial opportunities as well as challenges. A lot of our profession is tied to time for money. We're billing hours, or we have flat fees, or contingencies, whatever it might be. And a lot of the times that does, in many ways, limit our earning potential if we don't recognize and figure out ways to get around that. So that's something that is really, really kind of, I focus on a lot as I go into this. Me celebrating our 3rd year of our law firm this year. How do I continue to grow the firm and scale the firm alongside my partner? What can we delegate? Where can we pull back? And how can we continue to grow and scale in a way that feels right to us, and continue to increase our revenue while working less? That is my goal this year as far as the law firm goes. Also taxes. I think we think about taxes and we think about kind of that we don't want to think about taxes, but from day one, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would make sure that I had a good CPA from day one. I would make sure that I understood the different types of income, or, salary, bonuses, earned income, dividends, and how it's taxed and why it's taxed, and the things that I could do, like real estate investing, like tax loss harvesting, to make sure that I was being intentional about my money, because taxes can be one of the biggest expenses that drains our net worth. I would make sure I understood, okay, what can I write off? What can I not write off? What might cause me some issues down the road? If I'm writing something off, how do I document it? Maybe I want to write off some of those wellness expenses or that gym membership. Like, how can I actually do that? How can I take a home office deduction? Things like that can really move the needle on building wealth. But most lawyers never really get strategic about that. So that's something that I would really do. How do I move away from trading time for money only? And how do I make sure that I'm being tax efficient? Because most lawyers, those 2 strategies, they're like dead in the water on, and it really does impact our ability to build net worth. Because it's not just, go back to that last episode, it's not just about pushing, it's not just about overworking, it's being intentional about how we work. Because wealth is not just built from that overworking, from that willpower, from that pushing. It's about the strategy. It's about, what am I doing? What's working? What's not working? Keeping an eye on my revenue, keeping an eye on my expenses, making sure I'm talking to my CPA throughout the year, not just at tax time. Systems like that will really, really sustain you even when you're in insanely busy periods, like we often have in our various areas of law. Systems that support you when you're feeling tired, systems that support you when you're feeling like maybe you want to give up, because, anything at all will eventually you're gonna be like, okay, maybe this isn't for me because you're tired, because you're overwhelmed. So having these systems in place and thinking about your money strategically from day one of your law career can really, really support you. And that's what I would do. I would start reading books about personal finance earlier. I would start listening to podcasts about money. I would start investing in the stock market way earlier than I did. I would look into IRAs and other retirement accounts and see what makes the most sense. Go back 2 episodes ago and listen to this incredible, incredible episode I had with a wonderful financial advisor. He gave a lot of really, really great tips on how we can be more tax efficient and financially savvy as lawyers. But that's what I would do. I would really, really focus on my wealth as pillar 1. Pillar 2, I would really, really, really be intentional about my well-being. I can tell you now, I work out probably 4 to 5 days a week, and that's with 2 businesses, a husband, and 2 kids, because I'm intentional. I sit down at the beginning of every week. Not perfect about it, but I really try to be on Sundays or Saturdays or even Monday mornings. Like, what does my week look like? How can I schedule in time for myself? I have ClassPass. I'm loving it. Like, what classes do I have time for this week? And maybe can I, I'm very fortunate enough that I have a few gyms that I could walk to from my house. Maybe I can get in a little bit of an extra workout, or maybe I can drop the kids off a little bit earlier at preschool and go for a walk on the beach. Whatever it is that you can do to start to incorporate more well-being into your life from day one. If I could go back to first year attorney Lauren or 1L year attorney Lauren, I'd say focus on your well-being, because it will help you see opportunities. It will help you think more clearly. It will give you more energy. It will make you feel more alive and more motivated and more energized. So we really can't afford to not focus on our well-being, especially with the legal profession, kind of how it is. Because if we're costing ourselves that clarity and the ability to continue throughout our day and have that energy and that focus, if we're kind of losing that, how much time are we costing ourselves, even if we're there at the desk for 12, 14 hours? If we're kind of feeling blah, we're not feeling good, we're kind of just going through the motions, how much more time can we buy back for ourselves if we're actually taking time to go to a yoga class or meditate or like go for a walk around your office? Like, it doesn't even have to be anything fancy. It can be a free walk that you take. Find maybe a coffee shop that you love that will give you that feeling of like happiness throughout your day, or a good vibe, whatever it is. Because if our nervous system is not regulated properly and we're not feeling good, it's really going to start to take a toll. And I think a lot of people end up either leaving the law or, maybe even changing jobs because they don't feel regulated, when they're not changing anything internally. They're just changing the situation as opposed to actually changing the inside and how we're reacting to things. And then everything just starts to feel harder. So the reality is, taking care of yourself, taking care of your well-being is not a luxury. It's not something that you should put off until tomorrow. It's something that you should focus on from day one. So that's the second thing that I would absolutely focus on. I would give myself the grace and the ability to take care of myself and my well-being. Pillar number 3, I really, really, really love identity. And identity was something that I really started to think long and hard about, probably, I would say, like 3 to 4 years into my career. I had just gotten the position in big law, and I was like, okay, how am I going to make it? How am I going to survive in this like dog eat dog world where I'm working all these hours and I have these billable hour requirements? Like, how am I going to make sure that I'm taking care of myself? Because in my mind, I was like, quite frankly, if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to be able to have staying power in this role. And so for me, it was like vital to do so. Because the reality is, if you're not really thinking about who you want to be, how do you want your life to look? How do you want your life to feel? That's a really great exercise as we move into this new year. How do you want your year to feel? Rather than just kind of setting goals, like arbitrary goals, like I want to have $1 million in revenue, or I want to get 100 new clients, or I want to meditate 10 minutes a day. Those are all great. Those are great goals. But can you also think about, how do I want this year to feel? How do I want to feel about my money? What clients do I what type of interactions do I want to have with my clients, and relationships do I want to have with my clients? What travel experiences do I want to have? How do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning and as I move through my day and as I hang out with my family? Like, really start to think about who you want to be and how you want to feel identity-wise. I think if I had allowed myself to do that from the beginning, I would have kind of recognized I have no regrets on how my career has panned out. I think it honestly happened exactly as it was meant to happen. But I think there's things I would have done differently. I would have allowed myself, more grace. I would have given myself, I would have had more confidence from the earlier years. I would have recognized more so like, oh, imposter syndrome is a real thing and it's extremely normal, especially when you're a type A person who, just like is constantly trying to move on to the next like rung in the ladder, or who feels like you've never accomplished enough. I think focusing on identity, and really identity from like a how you want your life to look, and identity from how do you want your wealth to look? How do you want your money to look? How do you want to interact with money? Things like that I really didn't begin to focus on until pretty early on. I'm grateful. I stumbled upon some great podcasts about money and wealth and manifestation and personal development early on that truly moved the needle and changed the entire trajectory of my career. But if I'm reflecting back on what I would have done differently, I would have done that from day one. I would have focused on how do I want my life to feel? Who do I want to be? How do I want my relationship with money to look like? Things like that much early on. And it's not just about like positive thinking or just, like rose-colored glasses. It's about how can I be intentional about the life that I get to co-create with the universe? Like, how can I be intentional about the world that I want to operate in and operate from? And what do I want my life to look like? Because we really do have so much more autonomy and ability to determine the life that we want and the desires of our heart and like what we actually want to get from this world. We have so much more ability to determine that and identify and then decide than we really realize. And so I would definitely go back to first year associate Lauren and tell her, you have the ability to decide who you want to be. And about, really becoming the version of who you want to be while building wealth without just like completely burning yourself out. So that's really pillar 3, identity, and like, how do you want to feel and who do you want to be? And then last but not least, pillar 4, and it kind of just ties it all together. Who do I want to spend my time with, and who do I want to be around? Because the reality is, and I'm sure you've all heard, you're like the 5 most people. You're like the 5 people who are closest to you. You kind of emulate them. I have noticed, especially in the last 3 years of becoming an entrepreneur, I feel reinvigorated about the people who are around me. I have been intentional about surrounding myself with people who are quote unquote ahead of me, whether it's revenue wise or the lifestyle that I want, or maybe they have 2 houses, they have a vacation house or whatever it might be. Spending time with people who are excited about their lives, excited about their careers, doing really cool things in business or in real estate, allowing themselves to dream really, really big and be the people that they want to be, and giving themselves the permission to do that and to earn the money. That's been really, really pivotal and impactful for me to be intentional. I don't want to feel like the smartest person in the room all the time. I'm not saying that I do, but I want to be surrounded by people who are smarter than me, who are doing cooler things than I am, who are saying, hey, Lauren, that's really, really great. But can you maybe dream a little bit bigger? Can you take that a step further? Or have you ever thought about approaching your business in this way or that way? Rather than, I think the community that I used to be in and surrounded with, especially when I was in Big Law, was more like, oh, well, that's too hard, or, oh, we just don't have time for that, or, oh, yeah, but my law school debt's holding me back, or, oh, but, like love sucks and everything is just hard. And that was the type of environment, not everyone in my life, but that was the type of environment that I was, surrounding myself with. Or when I told people I was leaving Big Law, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. That's so crazy. Or, oh, I could never do that. Kind of like I said in the prior episode. But when I became intentional about the people that I spent my time with, my revenue increased, my happiness increased, my ability to make bigger and scarier decisions, or even just take a step back and give myself the ability to rest and relax. All of that it's just, and I see it. I see last year was a really, really big year for me and kind of deciding who I wanted to be and making big decisions in my life and spending time with people. And so I think that if you're intentional about that, if I was more intentional about that from day one, about who I spent my time with, who I gave my energy to, who was maybe sucking my soul versus who was really adding to it and making me feel inspired and motivated and excited about my life, I would definitely revisit the people that I was spending my time with and the conversations that I was having from day one as a first year associate or as a first year attorney. That's definitely something that I would go back because it really is about who you're in the room with, who you're at the table with. And it doesn't have to be people so far ahead of you that your brain can't even comprehend getting to that level. It can be someone who's maybe just a little bit ahead of you business-wise, or a little bit ahead of you net worth-wise or confidence-wise, that can kind of reach their hand back and say, this is what I've done. Let me show you the way. Let me show you the mistakes that I made. Let me show you the things that worked for me or didn't work for me. And that has been one of the biggest things. I'll share with you, I've done something really, really exciting this year. I have joined my first ever mastermind. I'm really excited. It was a big financial commitment, and I am very, very, very pumped about everything that's going to bring, the people that I'm going to be spending my time with, the things that I'm going to learn from them, because I know that that investment is going to pay itself in spades with new clients, with new business decisions and strategies, with new things that I implement in my life. We're going to Greece this summer. Just so many really cool things that I'm excited for. And, I wouldn't have necessarily had the funds to make that financial investment my first year, but being around people who excited me and inspired me and doing that intentionally would have been really, really, really big. Because if you are around people who believe in you and believe in themselves, you will go so much further. You will be so much more motivated and just enjoy your life, so much more. And this is where the squad comes in. I'm really, really excited to open up this new membership that was previously only for people who purchased one of my courses. I'm excited to open this up. I'm excited to really, really dive into wealth building strategies within the squad, to really focus on our well-being. I'm going to be doing audio drops a couple times a week on things that I'm doing that are working for me when it comes to wealth, when it comes to my health, and different strategies or ways that I'm fitting in my workouts, or just things that are kind of on my heart about life and business. We're going to continue with the monthly virtual yoga, which is if you haven't done one of the Legal and Wealthy yoga classes yet, definitely join us soon. Reach out to me. I'd love for you to join one for free, because Aman Costigan is a genius when it comes to, she's a lawyer and a yoga instructor, and she's a genius at figuring out how to relax and just regulate our nervous systems. It's once a month. It's amazing. We also have the Money and Mindset Book Club, where we read incredible books, and then we have really, really great, inspiring and inspired discussions about our money and our wealth and our mindset and business. It's really, really great. And I have so many cool things I'm planning this year. One of the big things I'm excited for is the Legal and Wealthy Supper Club, where I'm going to do a few dinners, hopefully a little bit more, but at least a few dinners in really, really wonderful, beautiful locations that are really elevated and feel really, really good. And then yoga retreats. So if you become a member of the squad for anything like yoga retreats and these dinners, you will get everything at the squad member price. People can still come. We'll still open it up to the public, because I want everyone to be able to have these experiences. But the squad is really going to be something special, where we can focus on our wealth. We can focus on our well-being. We can focus on our identity and who we want to become in 2026 and beyond, and do this all in a community of people who are also excited, who are also motivated, who are also dreaming bigger and motivating and inspiring others around them to do the same. It truly is a membership for those lawyers and law students who want to build wealth, who want regulated nervous systems, who want to live lives where we get to focus on money and well-being and identity together, and truly, truly make this our best year yet. So I'm so happy that you were here. I hope you got something really, really great from this episode. If you're ready to stop kind of just white knuckling your career in 2026, definitely stay tuned for all the exciting episodes that we have coming up on the podcast. Definitely come check out the squad, see if it's something that feels aligned. This is your invitation to truly focus on yourself this year and make it, like I said, the best year yet, and make it really a year that you'll be able to reflect back on at the end and the beginning of 2027 and say, wow, that was a year where I really up-leveled and shifted things in ways I never would have imagined. So thank you so much for listening, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Cheers to 2026. Let's make it our favorite year, best year ever. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Legal and Wealthy. If today's episode sparked something in you, take it one step further. Share it, leave a review, or come connect with me inside the Legal and Wealthy community. Remember, wealth isn't just about the numbers. It's about how you lead, how you live, and how you build beyond the billable. You already have what it takes to create real freedom and wealth. I'm just here to help you claim it.